Hi, I'm Kristi Frank from season #1 of Donald Trump's The Apprentice, and welcome to the Success Show. Today I have a very exciting guest for you, Neil Gillespie, and he is founder of ShamrockGrowth.com, and he runs Shamrock Growth Associates. And so we were just discussing, and before we get into your business now, let's talk about your background and how you got started.
Oh, how I got started. I worked for some pretty big manufacturers like General Electric Company and Eaton Corporation, and I found myself always kind of over helping our customers, and the salespeople would bring me out to talk to customers about more than just our products and how to sell them. So in terms of helping them make their business more profitable and growing their business and all aspects of their business. And I got into some discussions with my employers about that sort of thing, where they were
spending your hours in
yes, yeah, it wasn't always on their products alone. So I literally thought, like, what if I fired my employers and I went direct to the customers to do the consulting? So that's kind of how I got into it, and I actually did it one day and got into consulting to basically the customer base of what they were selling products to.
Great. And we were talking that you don't work with the one-on-one entrepreneur. What are your typical clients?
Typical clients could be somebody that has anywhere from maybe 10 employees to hundreds of employees. Wow. Sometimes, if in case of a manufacturer that wants to market better through the distribution channels, it could be hundreds of thousands of employees in certain manufacturers. But that's the exception. Most of what I do is independently owned business people.
Independently owned business people. So you're not talking to the entrepreneur. You're talking to maybe someone who's handling a growth issue or dealing with sales or dealing with a marketing issue.
Right. Sometimes they're first generation owners and they started their business years ago, so they really are an entrepreneur. Or they could be second generation owners that there's some entrepreneurial spirit left in there, but their issues really are, especially in these times, how to eke out growth and also profitability.
Well, you are known as the growth specialist. So let's talk about the book that you've written, and then we'll get into some more ways that you can help business owners. So this book, Discover Your Core, Then Go for More, Start Growing Again, really caught my eye because now with the economy, it's like you need to reinvent yourself again and try new things that maybe have been working for you before but aren't working today.
Reinventing yourself is part of the equation, but it really comes next. What you really have to do is rediscover what you're really, really good at, that you have a lot of business density. In other words, a lot of dollars in that market segment. Your transactions tend to be a little larger than other market segments you might serve. Discover that, get to be the best at that, get extremely productive in your business operations doing that, and then see where some of the resources, some of the capabilities I have now may be able to be repurposed out into the marketplace and learn a few more things. Right now, businesses kind of put themselves in jail and limit their view of what they could do in the market if they learn to do some new things where some of what they do is applicable, but they need to learn some new things too.
So that's intriguing. So give us an example of something that big businesses are doing incorrectly.
Well, most businesses, they don't need to be big to do this incorrectly. They think that the only way to grow your business is to sell more to your existing customers or take some market share from your competitors' customers.
Right.
And they kind of stop there.
Right.
But as is pointed out in the book, there are at least 4 more methods of looking for growth. And the last method has about 6 variations on the 6th, which is business adjacencies, getting into those.
Wow. Okay. I'm going to probe you for one special tip that you can tease us with. What would be one direction I can start looking if I'm exhausted my current customers and I'm not doing very well at getting some of my competition?
Well, the easiest or the lowest hanging fruit is to look at your current customers and say, what other products are they buying, or services that they are buying that I currently don't do? And usually what business owners say to me is, well, we don't do that. To which I reply, I know. Do you ever think of it?
Yes, it would. You've already got the customers satisfy more of their needs.
Quick example, and it's in the book. After I gave a talk one time on growth strategies to a group of independently owned business people, a fellow that ran a cleaning business, cleaning commercial facilities, walked up to me and he said, "What's an adjacency?" And I said, "Well, it's kind of a business that is like next to yours." And he said, "Well, like the building next to me?" And I said, "Well, it could be, but that's not really what I mean. It's if you are sending out crews to go to commercial facilities to clean those facilities, and you discover other things like, are you changing the floor mats and selling them new floor mats while you're out there?" And now that's good for two reasons. One is, of course, you grow your business because you've added another product or service you didn't do before.
That they're doing already.
And you're spending the money to be there anyway, so you're making additional return on the already made investment, the already done capability that you've done. So ROI goes up along with the revenue.
Brilliant, brilliant. Another line of products to add in to support your existing business that you didn't even think about.
Exactly. That's what I call leveraging your current capabilities. But they're going to have to learn something about something new as well.
Right. And it could ultimately end up being a bigger revenue generating machine than you ultimately had thought.
Right. And there's more things you can do after that.
Yeah.
And the growth progression works like this. You might look at something very, very aggressive, like getting into security systems in the building, and the cleaning entrepreneur is saying, "Oh, that's beyond me right now." But as you do the interim things, you get closer and closer to that very sophisticated thing until at some point you can tackle that too.
Right.
So it looks far off today. If you do the other things that lead up to that, you do it in bands like a tree grows. And you get closer and closer to the tougher things.
So how would a customer work with you? I'm, let's say, the second generation. This is a family business. I'm taking good care of it, but it's at a standstill. Do you come in and watch my organization? Do you coach, consult? How do you take me to the next level?
Well, what I do first is interview the owner, find out the way they perceive their current needs, talk to the management team, and then I spend a lot of time getting a lot of the data about the business, look at their customer purchasing patterns, look at their competitors, look at the markets, and analyze what they're doing now, and do they need to do certain things to tremendously improve where they're at. But if they're very, very good and they've kind of maximized the gross profit per order by selling a broad range of things that they could be selling, if they've maximized that out, then they need to look outside of what they're doing today for growth.
Right. If
they haven't maximized, you got to do those things first, because you've got to get the foundation sound. Because you start building on top of that, it's all going to crumble on you. You got to get a sound business that generates cash to feed the new areas of growth. Just like what a tree does is it's drawing nutrients and water up through the tree, which is the distribution center, but most of the growth happens on the outer part of the tree. If you didn't generate any cash, by being very productive in delivering it, well, you've got no cash to fund growth. And that's where a lot of businesses find themselves today.
Well, and that's why we both know that working with mentors and people who have been there before, who have seen what works and the quickest route possible to the revenue is the only way to go, because you could lose so much time and money and energy going kind of and get lost in the roots, as you're saying, in the tree groove.
It's interesting you say that, because I find the tendency when someone doesn't know how to do something, how to approach a market, the tendency is to sit in the meeting room and talk to your brethren in your business and try and figure it out there. When in essence, it's go talk to other people that have done it before.
Right.
Or something similar, and go talk to the customers about, gee, we noticed that you're buying these other products and services from other people, and we're selling you this. Would it be any benefit to you to consolidate the suppliers that you buy from, and if we got into that business, right?
It's brilliant, and that's just one tip that Neil has for us today. So not only do you have this amazing book and the consulting, do you also speak for organizations? Can you come in and improve performance of the employees as well?
I'm sorry, what was that again?
Do you go in and speak for the organization that you're working with? Do you change employee productivity as well?
Oh, definitely. Now, I'm not a motivational type speaker. I'm not a culture change type guy. What I do end up changing the culture because it gets people really focused on the customer comes first. And if you're doing something productively for the customer, it's naturally going to make things more productive to you because it eliminates things that you're doing that they don't want.
Yes.
And you do the things that they do want. And if you find that out by checking with the customer, you're going to end up doing the right things in the company. So it will change employee productivity, employee morale because they're doing the right things and
definitely.
kind of sense it's working.
They have an action plan of where to go for more revenue, and that's bottom line profits. So,
right. So I do talk to employees. We'll have employee meetings, but nothing like where they bring all the employees in. It's usually I focus on the first couple of layers of management, and they take it from there with their individual departments.
Great, Neil. Some incredible strategies just right here very quickly. To find out more, you can go to shamrockgrowth.com. Neil, thank you so much for your time and your advice today. It's been a pleasure. Again, shamrockgrowth.com is where you can find out more. And thank you for being here. We'll see you again really soon.